Episode number 54 with Tony Huff. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
This is Mike Snyderman.
How the hell are you, Mike?
Very good, very good.
Good.
I'm a little tired.
Are you?
Yeah, about an hour's sleep. Coming off again some more cash game craziness.
Oh, how'd that go?
I had a good night playing cash. I made like $2,700.
Nice.
That's like, it's like unheard of.
It's a good night.
I mean, I think I got set over set, and finally I was the guy just catching cards. And I think if I was, if La Pinta was over my shoulder, it's probably a night where he would have made about 4,500.
Okay.
But whatever. It's good to make some money.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
I'm dealing with some internet situations here. I want to get straightened out before this past Sunday, I got disconnected a few times, which of course is very, very bad.
Oh, that's frustrating.
If you're trying to make money.
Yeah.
So what do we have today here? This is kind of fun. We get to talk to one of our most loyal. Is loyal? I'm not sure if that's the right word, but a definite fan of the show here.
Oh yeah, he's been my right-hand man working in the background, building the website. You can check out our website, HeadsUpPoker.Poker. Go there and see Tony's progress, and it's really cool. Really cool. He's really smart.
He's a real fob too.
A fob?
You know what a fob is? It's a friend of Barton.
Oh, okay.
He's pro Barton.
He is.
In a world of anti-Bartonites, there's a few out there bravely listening, not only tolerating you, listening to you, coming to you for advice, and
yes.
Because you are also been coaching Tony a little bit.
I have, yeah. He's been playing a lot of six-handed cash, and so I've been coaching him on that. Sometimes tournaments too, basically whatever he wants to learn, and in return, he's building the website. So.
How's he doing? Well, we'll talk to him in a minute, though. I've always been worried about that, like all online cash. There's just collusion is so easy to do. I would never play online cash. I hate to, the same names every time. All they got to do is look at them up and get two guys together, and it's just they could tear a table up, especially six max. But if he's winning, then I'm very skeptical about everything, of course.
Yes, we know that. We know that.
Oh, quickly, I wanted to. I solved. I don't know if a riddle is the right word, but it's like sometimes something's like right in front of your face and you don't even notice it. Like the night Lincoln was shot. There's someone in the stands go, oh my God, who did this? And someone's like, it's probably the person who yelled "Death to Tyrants" jumping out of the balcony and with a gun in his hand. But I mean, do you believe in alien life?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't believe that we've been visited by them, but I do believe that there are other life forms out there.
Well, you might have to amend the first statement there, because all I know is this: Carlos Welch is not human.
Okay.
I was listening to.
We've even had one on our podcast, huh?
Yeah. No, I was listening to the podcast yesterday. Mm-hmm. And first of all, there's parts where he's like, the things where somebody would be having a conversation, they'd be, well, what's interesting about most people, and he's like, what's interesting about these human beings?
Yeah, he did kind of give it away there, didn't he? I'm surprised I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's we'd have to figure this out here. What's his? Did he break away from the ship and he's on his own here, or does he have some big mission? Do you know what I mean? Is he studying us? What's the deal? He called me a sociopath too. I got to bring that up. And
he did.
I was watching his
shot across the bow. You didn't get a chance to needle him back.
And I was watching his Twitch stream. Sorry, Steve. I told you I'm tired. And
no, you're good.
Psychopath. So I'm a little sensitive here. But yeah, I don't even want to go into the details here. We might have to hire a forensic team, but he's here just to confound us somehow with this. He probably was supposed to come down here and like try to enslave some Earth girls for some sort of revolution, but then he just found poker and now he's drifting around in a van, and the alien overlords are very angry with him right now. All this time.
He's not here for the mission that he was sent to complete.
No. Even doing our podcast has no nefarious intent. It's just, just an alien kicking back and killing time. Anyways.
That's funny. Yeah, I had a pretty busy week. My friend, I talked about him last week. He died unexpectedly, and we just had his funeral yesterday. And it was, if you've ever been to a fire department funeral, this was definitely the epitome of that. I mean, we had the 2 ladder trucks out front with the giant flag hanging down in between it. Then all the firemen were lined up at attention when the family walked down into the auditorium. We filled up a small theater. There must have been 500 people there, and they actually got an engine onto the stage, a fire engine. They drove one up onto the stage. That was pretty impressive. And then at the end of the funeral, we rang the bell and a couple of helicopters flew over. It was quite a send-off. It was really impressive. And little update on my interview with Montecito. I'm one of 11 now. I guess the interview process narrowed it down from 15 to 11, and I think they're going to hire 3, so I won't hear anything from that for another probably till January or something. And then it turns out my friend that died at work, it looks like I'm going to take his spot as a captain. So
okay,
I think that's my promotion. I was
so that will reduce the chances of you wanting to go over, obviously, or take away any desire to go to the other department, right?
I don't know. At first I was like, no matter what happens, I'm leaving. I'm going to Montecito, and then now that this happened, I'm like, I'm kind of torn. I feel like if human resources drags their ass and they're taking forever on the promotion, then I'll probably just leave. I'm kind of torn. I'm going to wait until I get an offer from either one, and then just kind of see what happens, how I feel at that time.
The one thing, I think maybe I've already asked you this. I mean, if you're planning on picking up and moving to Colombia in a few years anyways, why would you take a job that has a pay cut? Because the Montecito one does have a pay cut. If you're not like in immediate peril of losing your job, or maybe you are, I don't know, maybe within 6 months, people start getting rid of some people.
I think, I've done a lot of thinking on that. And I don't know that I am going to be going to Colombia in a few years. This testing has kind of put the fire back into me for the fire service, and it's gotten me excited about it again. I think when I made that decision at the moment, I was pretty bitter on the fire service. I'd been trying to promote to captain for 8 years and getting passed over by other guys, and just it was extremely frustrating, and I had kind of gotten to a point in my head where I'm like, F this, I'm done. And I don't know that I feel that way anymore. It is a real brotherhood. It's a lot of fun. I do have fun at work. There are times where I would rather be doing something else, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to leave. That may change when my wife becomes a pilot, and then she's making $80,000 a year, and then I can decide, okay, do I really want to keep being a fireman, or would I rather take on the poker career? But I don't know. I'm open to the idea of sticking around longer now.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I thought a lot about what you said. Remember when I told you the plan, and you're like, it's asinine.
Gee, Steve, I just want you to be unhappy. I mean, I don't want you to fail.
Everyone pretty much told me the same thing except for Mark. He was like, right on, man, good for you. But I thought about it. Selling this property that we're in now, I don't think would be a good financial move. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and people that are better than me at real estate, and they all said, no, you should keep that one as a rental, whether you're living there or if you move out, rent it out. So,
or you could set some really challenge yourself with the poker. I mean, it's hard for you you're so busy to like crank out the hours, but there was a year there where I did not touch $1 of my postal salary.
Yeah.
See if you can live off poker for a year. Or set some sort of standard here. I mean, I don't know what it is. $35 an hour, whatever, and that might mean you having to do 6 or 8 tables and start pushing your buy-ins in up.
Yeah.
And so, that's a good thing maybe to talk to Mark about. Listen, I want a specific hourly. What do you think an average buy-in? I mean, I guess his side is just the coaching, not necessarily to resolve some of these mysteries. But that might be a good approach here. I mean, you should be thinking along those lines anyways. I think you just haven't been playing a lot of poker recently.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus with all the stuff, plus with all the other stuff going on with Poker Stars, that would make me nervous too as a time to quit. What
happened there? I haven't heard anything.
I don't know. It's big in all the poker. You really don't follow the news too much, Steve.
I need to. I really do.
How's the town crier in Oxnard? Do you have to get on your donkey and drive and ride into town to find out what's going on?
Pretty much, yeah. They post these bulletins up on a palm tree in the center of town, and
it's actually not a town crier. It's just like some crackhead. It's the end of the world.
Yeah, standing on a cardboard
Steve's
box.
Like, that's the same news as last week. I shall go home now. I'm glad there's nothing new that I need to know. No, it's just I don't even know how to describe the details because it doesn't affect me, of course. But basically, they've changed the rake back there. There's a bunch of people who make a living at Poker Stars who will no longer be able to, pretty much. Because, the edges are so small. Like, these guys who play, like, hyper turbos need to play, like, have an ROI of, like, 6% is actually good for a pro.
Wow. Okay.
So they got to play massive volume just to make a living. And there, normally, if you play massive volume, then you get a rake back too. But a lot of the rake back is changing, and this doesn't affect the MT tiers as much. But a lot of people are saying, well, it affects everybody because this is just bad for poker. You know what I mean? So but there's other stuff too. But so people are saying, but the Poker Stars rationale for this is a good one. It's just the amateurs just get on this site and just get raped.
Yeah.
So in the long term, it's just they're trying to bring new players to the game who aren't going to be. It's not such an incentive for the pros to just be beating them down every game, I guess. I don't know. I mean, of course, it's a money grab, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not the person to talk to about the details, but if you want to be snide-esque for a moment and assume that this is bad news for everybody.
Okay.
I think poker will always be around, and there's if you're willing to grind hard like you will, I'm sure there's always money to be made.
Yeah, I that's kind of how I look at it. I think that if there's not Poker Stars, there'll be another site. I mean, America's Card Room is fine, Bovada's fine. It's not like one of the big ones, but it works, As long as you can figure out the system to that one site, somebody has to win,
Poker is. I was talking to the prop at Oceans, and he's been a poker pro forever, pre-moneymaker. Even though he's like 40, I consider him a young guy. And he was just describing, like, back in the day, they had 20-40 limit hold'em, and he just was talking about how he's printing money at that. And like, he just used an example. It's a small player pool, and he's like, back then, if someone bet the river, even if you had a set and there was 3 to a flush, you could fold. It was pretty. He said in the player pool of 40 players, there was like 3 of them that would consider bluffing there and repping a flush out of 40. He said now that number's like 35 out of 40. You know what I mean? It's just that games are so much tougher.
Yeah.
So people can still beat it, but the people obviously who beat it are working a lot harder and getting less dividend, I suppose.
Yeah. Speaking
of less dividend, I'm grateful to the good people at Carbon Poker because I received $4,700 this morning.
Oh, nice.
So, so that something finally went through there. I'm hopefully this will continue, but I'll probably have to wait another 5 or 6 months. But like I said, as long as I get the damn money.
Well, now why 4,700? Wouldn't you?
Well, they charge you like, I think it was 4,750. They charge you like $250 in transaction fee to get it off. Yeah, that used to be like one free transaction a month. Yeah. I mean, everything just gets worse over time here.
Yeah, they're doing anything they can to lay there.
I was talking about how I could really use that money and all this stuff, but I went to the bike and fired 3 bullets into their 1675 main event, and that cost me $5,025. So,
okay.
This pays for my weekend there at least.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I mean, I just never follow through and everything. I always said I cannot do live tournaments without getting backing of some sort. Even if I have the money, it's just too much of a hit to the bankroll, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So this was, I don't know if I don't have really. Well, we're going to focus on Tony today in his hands. I don't really have too many. Although I'll say my first day bust out hand quickly. I don't know if we want to get Tony on, but I'll just. I have 4-bet ripped ace queen off, which doesn't sound terrible, but I had 65 effing big blinds. Although it was against an aggressive 3-better. He ended up having kings and winning. Mm-hmm. But I did a little hand history with Doug, and he ran the numbers for me, and the stack sizes, this and that, and everything. First of all, I saw how to really get into ICM Miser or whatever program he uses. But
good.
He said it was positive EV, but it's of course so razor thin, probably positive EV, that I should be just doing the slow building of chips, as I was doing nicely for 9 hours before I did this like late in the day. Yeah. Anyway, should we ready to get Tony on, or is he?
Yeah, let's bring him on. Real quick, I want to throw a thank you out to Elliot Rowe at Poker Hypnosis. You can get a free MP3 by clicking on the link in the show notes or going to HeadsUpPoker.Poker and click on the Elliot Rowe tape there. You listen to it before you play, and it'll influence you subconsciously for the better the next time you play. Okay, let's give Tony a call.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good,
Tony,
good.
It's Mike. Nice to speak with you finally.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time, huh? Yeah.
Appreciate all the help you've been giving us here.
No, not a problem. I've been doing it.
Most importantly, you've been very good to Steve's self-confidence here.
Yeah. He needs a boost every once in a while, Mike.
Now that he knows he can coach, he's trying all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's good.
He's getting daring. He's making his own cereal in the morning.
Stroking his ego a little bit. He's gonna try.
Even slicing the banana myself to put it in.
Yeah. And try some turkey jerky next. Experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, fill everyone in. What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a nurse. I work in a long-term care facility. I've been a nurse since 1997. Just enjoy doing my job, and on the side, I'm doing this little poker stuff, learning about poker.
Yeah. Your wife, Danny, or her spouse?
Yep. Yeah. We're not married. We have a kid together, little 2-year-old.
Yes.
Course of pears. Steve spoke with her last night.
Yes.
She's an interesting little girl.
Oh, she's a cute little thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not as cute as Mr. Kicks, of course.
Oh, no, of course not.
Steve's.
I haven't seen Mr. Kicks. But...
Right.
I got to tweet a photo of him. He's a good cat.
Yeah.
He's a good cat. We got him from the neighbors, and he was just kind of, they didn't have time for him. Poor gal next door is working like 2 jobs, and when we got him, he was really skinny, so I started feeding him. I looked up what to feed him. I'm feeding him raw food. Do you have a cat, Tony?
Yeah, I've got a cat we've had for about 6 years, and I just switched from dry food over to some wet food for him, and he's probably gained 7 or 8 pounds in the past 2 months since I've done that.
Okay, yeah. I did the same thing, and when I have to go to work, I usually just fill it up with dry food, just because I don't want it to get all nasty. But when I'm home, I feed him raw food. I raw chicken, raw fish, raw beef heart, raw liver, all that stuff. I just mix it together, and then he loves it, man. He's put on some, healthy weight. I mean, he's not fat. He's just like looking like a normal cat now, not like he's on death's doorstep, So,
the cat's eating pretty damn well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But
so maybe can we start before we get talking to hands? Can we just talk? I'm kind of very curious about the whole coaching thing. Get a general overview.
Oh yeah, and that's not a big.
Maybe start
from
Steve's perspective, just what you saw in Tony from the beginning, and what you felt you needed to work on, and how that's been going. And then we'll see if we'll see if actually Tony's made a nickel in this, and then we can just
assault
Steve for being ignorant.
Yeah, no, I think one of the things right off the bat was he was playing way too tight. And so not three betting with hands that he should. Even with the aces and kings, every now and then he would three bet, but most of the time it was just, well, I don't want to raise and give away my hand. I'm like, well, you have to raise with the good ones, and you have to raise with your crap too, or then they'll know what you have all the time. So we started with that, opening up his game a lot, and just loosening him up a little bit. When we first started, he was probably something like boy, if I had to guess, probably a 12-8.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what it
Extremely
was
tough.
because I wasn't really using the HUD.
Yeah, and I think now he's probably a lot closer to like a 2015, something like that. So it's
Yeah, I think that's about right.
yeah, 2015, 5, something like that. I think that was the main thing, is just loosening him up a little bit. And so what we did was just started throwing suited connectors into his game. I'm like, okay, you gotta raise with your good hands and raise with these as well, just to
Is this cash or tournament, or it's the same?
both.
Well, I haven't played too many tournaments since I started coaching with Steve. I don't really have a whole lot of time to sit down for 5-6 hours because I got the little one and my 11-year-old too. So I mean, we do a lot of family things, and just sitting down for 6 or 7 hours just to play a tournament's not really feasible at this moment. So I've just been doing cash right now.
Okay. Yeah, Steve used to make a steady. Used to do very well in live 1-2, making more money at that game than I thought was possible, more than $20 an hour with a bad rake even. So
yeah,
it can be done.
No, definitely can be done. I haven't been to play live for quite a while either because I'm not really interested in the live cash games in the card rooms we got around here. So we do have a casino. It's about an hour away, but yeah, I played a couple tournaments there, but that's about it.
How long have you been playing? When did you start?
And it was about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Home games, yeah.
Yeah.
Just little tournaments. And the first tournament I played, I think I was out within the first 3 hands, and I went home. And after that, I got online that evening and started looking up poker sites, and that was before Black Friday, so I was able to get on PokerStars and deposit a little bit of money, and then I started playing on Full Sail. Still wasn't a winning player, but I was learning the game, so it turned out pretty well.
Yeah. It's a fun game.
So has this how's your love of the game is building here, I'm guessing. I mean coaching.
I really enjoy playing the game. I'm enjoying learning about it and picking out the spots that I know I need to find, and with Steve's help we've kind of got my opening range up really good. My numbers are pretty decent, and now I think just working on the everyday spots that you see where you're just either fold or calling and maybe trying to figure out a different way to be playing those hands.
Right.
Make it a little more profitable.
Do you have any hands pulled up?
Yeah, I do. Just a second. Now this first one,
what do you call Steve? Do you call him Steve, or is he like Coach B or something?
no, I just call him Steve. I don't have a nickname for him yet. Yeah, Mike.
Coach B.
I'm a little appalled by the familiarity there and the lack of respect for the title. But that's okay.
I should start using my manners. My grandma might not want to listen to this. She might smack me for not using my manners. So.
Like the doctors don't like it when you say, "Hey, homie." You know
oh,
what I mean?
no, definitely not. You don't want to call them by their first name either. That makes them a little grumpy. So. But I think I use my respect at work, and then whenever I get home, it's just all out the window.
Okay.
All right, the first hand I got, I have ace diamonds, 3 diamonds under the gun.
Okay, now is this a tournament or cash game or what?
No, this is a cash game. This is a 25-50 game on Bovada.
Okay, 6-handed?
Yep, it's 6-handed. I play 6 max. It's a little bit easier, I think, to pick out the spots and to focus more on what the other players are doing than a 9 max. I've tried playing 9 max again, and I just don't really feel comfortable since I've been playing so much 6 max. So
okay,
I'm really comfortable at the 6-handed table.
Good. Okay, so 25-50, and what'd you say? You were under the gun?
Yeah, I'm under the gun with the ace 3 diamonds.
Ace of diamonds, 3 of diamonds. Okay.
So I open for $1.50, which is my standard raise for any 2 cards, in early position.
Okay. Is it full-handed? Is it 5-handed? 4-handed?
Yeah, we're full 6. There's 6 of us here. I have 44, and the villain in this, well, there's 2 of them, I guess. The effective stack is mine, 44.
Okay. Had you just sat down, or have you been playing at this table for a while? Or?
No, I'd been playing there for a while. I usually buy in for 60 to 65 big blinds when I sit down.
Okay. What do you think of the open, Mike?
It's fine.
You like it?
It's well, cash games. I want to stay quiet after discussing all the cash game hands.
I enjoy your cash input. That way I can learn what not to do, Mike.
Right. Okay, here we go. I walked into that one. No, I'd be very curious if these are 5 average villains, whatever that is, they're all the same.
Yeah.
What is where we know they're always, then at that point, if there's nothing to study and react to in terms of the individual villains, if they're all the same, let's just, whatever that is, the average internet player, what in a 6-handed game should be your opening range? What percentage of hands are you opening, Steve? I would like to just step back and look at this. I know suited aces have to be in there, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying suited connectors. I mean,
every now and then, I think in early position, the suited connectors are good.
So suited connectors, you're looking more to play in position or in the blinds for cheaper.
Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ace 3 of diamonds. At first I wasn't too much of a fan of it, but I think it's okay. Suited aces.
Well, and I got written down when I took notes on this hand. If this was a mistake, I was not sure if I played it correctly on, and I think it's after the flop. So yeah.
The thing is, when you're opening these suited aces in early position like this, you're going to be put in a lot of awkward situations, in a lot of awkward spots, and you just have to be extremely comfortable playing after the flop and the turn in the river with them. Is pretty much what it is. If you're not comfortable playing after the flop with them, then I don't think you're losing much by folding these. Anyways, okay. So you open ace 3 of diamonds to 150 under the gun, and I'm assuming we get a call somewhere.
Yeah, I got two callers. I got a call from the hijack, and I got a call from the small blind.
Okay, hijack 150 and small blind 150. Okay, and the big blind folded?
Yeah, the big blind folded.
Okay.
And the flop is 5 of spades, 6 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds.
5 of spades, 6 of diamonds, 10 of diamonds?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and the total pot here would be $5. Is that right?
Yep. Yep, it's 5 after reg.
$5. Okay, and let's see, what's the small blind do?
Small blind leads out for 240, just under half pot.
Okay, small blind 240. Okay, what are you thinking when he leads out like that?
Oh, the standard player pool at the stakes that I play, it seems like a lot of times they have a pretty wide range. There's a lot of any 2 cards, and especially when I get 2 callers like this, either one of them has any 2 cards, but small blind, Broadway cards, of course, maybe some suited connectors. I don't know. I think they have a pretty wide range. So what I do when I'm playing these games, if I feel comfortable with the flop and feel comfortable playing it after the flop, then I usually go with it. But if I don't, then I just fold because I don't know. It's hard to range them a lot of times, especially when you just sit down. So
okay. So he could have a 10. He could have a couple of overcards, something like Queen Jack, something like that.
Yeah, and he could easily have the king of diamonds, especially leading out there.
Okay.
We're hoping he has a couple smaller diamonds, because then we can take his stack.
Yes,
of course.
That would be ideal.
And I figured with any 10s plus, he would probably 3-bet me there out of the small blind. That happens quite often.
Okay.
They have a big pair in the small blind.
Okay. So what did you do? Did you call or did you raise or?
I just called. I just flatted his 240.
Hero calls 240.
Well, Steve, what do you feel about that? Would you be raising or calling?
I think I would call. And the reason is I would like the hijack to come along as well. If he's got something like maybe a lone 10, or if he's got like a some kind of draw, 7-8, something like that, then I would just call. I like it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because he only had the hijack only had 1090 in his after the pre-flop, so I didn't want to push him out of the pot. If he wanted to come along, then I was perfectly fine with it. I mean, I've got backdoor straight, of course, and then the nut flush draw. So I didn't feel like raising would do much, but just give me the pot right now.
Okay. All right. What do you think, Mike? Would you call or would you raise there? I got a feeling you'd raise.
I don't have a clue, Steve. I'm trying to become comfortable with my own ignorance. I mean, obviously, I'm just thinking in tournaments. If I have 25 big blinds left, I'm going to raise probably, or flat and shove the turn, because there's going to be a lot of chips in there. You're going to have a lot of equity, and it's a gamble you have to make. So,
yeah. Well, I think I agree with Mike. If it was in a tournament and I had 25 big blinds, I would probably raise there.
Oh yeah.
So deep stack cash game. I don't know. Although I got to say, I was talking to one of the better players at Oceans, and just to step back to the pre-flop action, I think this was an interesting piece of advice. And I mean, I've heard this before, where it's like in tournaments, you're trying to steal blinds and antes. You're trying to steal openings and constantly kind of grow your stack.
Mm-hmm.
In cash games, you're always just trying to get the guy's stack. What I can do. So me and him were talking about the difference between suited and unsuited cards. And suited cards, of course, the flush is only going to get there 3% or whatever it is. But he said in terms of getting a monster, the sort of hand that you can take the other guy's stack, like ace 3 off, you have 2 ways. You have 2 pair and you have a straight. He's like, but ace 3 of diamonds, you now have 3 ways. Flush, straight, and 2 pair. So the hand is actually 50% bigger chance to win. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was interesting. 3-2.
Huh.
No, that is interesting.
So it's not 3% better. It's, if you're trying to win a huge pot, it's like massively better.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So anyways, I can't imagine ever even in a 6-max ever even thinking about folding a suited ace under the gun. But I'm sorry. On this hand, I still kind of like the click back.
Okay.
It just gives you more maneuverability on the turn, maybe.
Okay.
But I don't know. I guess keeping the other guy in, like you said, this is just again, but to hopefully one of them has. Keep them both in. So if you hit your hand, it increases the likelihood of getting paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Well, in this spot, if you click it back, if you make it, let's see, small blind made it 240. If Tony were to make it 480, then now the hijack's got a stack of, what'd you say he's got, 10 something?
10-9, yeah, 1090. So
10-9.
he would either have to fold or shove.
I think so, yeah. I think calling for half a stack there would be kind of bad. What's the stack of the small blind?
42 is just
about the same as you.
Yeah, pretty much the same, 90 cents.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you call, and what's the hijack do?
Hijack shows for his 1090.
Okay, so 90 and small blind.
Well, this is where I wanted to stop and talk about it because I wasn't sure what to do after the small blind calls the 1090.
Oh,
he just
okay.
flatted. He didn't raise. He just flatted the 1090. And I kind of sat there for a little bit. I timed down to I think like 5 or 6 seconds, trying to figure out what the correct play would be here.
Yeah.
Well, how much money's in the pot now?
There would have been 26.50 before I called.
And there's going to be it's going to cost you $8 and something cents to call.
Yeah, 1090.
I think it's
so 1090
I think it's
minus 240 minus 240 850.
Okay. Yeah. 850.
Okay, so 850 and 2650 is the total pot. By 850 equals over 3 to 1. That's pretty damn close.
Yeah, I'm getting 3 to 1 on 9 outs, but I've got the backdoor straight draw too. So.
Yeah, I don't know how good the backdoor straight
and an over. You could have 12.
You could hit it with an ace.
You could have 12 outs.
The backdoor straight though, I mean, yeah, you could get a 2 and a 4, and then, I don't know that you can really count those as outs because if someone has a 7 or whatever, then you're just going to the low end of that. If you have to catch runner, you can count that as basically 1 out. That's kind of how you can figure that for a runner. So like if you have a backdoor flush draw, count that as 1 out. Just to make it easy. But this, I would say, you basically have any diamond, and then an ace could be an out.
Okay. I think this is pretty uncomplicated. It's either well, it's not uncomplicated, but we're never folding here.
No.
In calculating the number, it's are we shoving or calling? And like I said, in the worst case scenario, you still have 30 or 35% equity. And if you want to think that the small blind is likes his hand and is always calling down here, so basically, if you want to put just the $8 in, and the 27 in the pot, and then the $32 left that the small blind has, you're putting $8 to win $59, right?
Yeah.
So you would, in that case, even if you're planning on folding after the turn, you only need a 1 in, 7.5%, 1 in a 7.5 to 1 odds you're getting just to make it by the turn, and you're 5 to 1 to hit that flush now on just the next card. So even if this was on the turn and you were only getting 1 card, I would still be calling.
Okay.
Never mind the flop. So I just think your hand's too good. I would probably shove it in.
Oh, really? You'd shove?
Well, I mean, you know how I play. But the thing is that also sucks here is if you just call, then I guess you have to fold on the turn if he shoves, and you're just losing a shit ton of equity there. You don't get to see both cards because if you just flat here and you don't get there in the turn, then him shoving, you're just not getting the right price.
Well, you do have position on him. I mean, he's going to act first on the turn. If he only called there.
Before we even, I mean, again, I don't know, like the villain here. If you think there's cards he's just going to shut down with, be nervous about, like all paint. If we think he has a 1-pair hand here, 10-8, whatever. Or
that's what I was. 10-8, Jack 10. I mean, he very easily could have had Jack 10 from the small blind.
I mean, if you could see his hand face up and he had a set, I would probably just call.
Okay.
But if he had any of those small pairs, I would just shove. First of all, you still have fold equity. He might put you on a big pair now. A little less likely since maybe you just flatted his donk lead. And you're ahead of some hands in his range too. What was the flop? 10. What was the other 2 cards?
10-6-5 with 10-6-7.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have 7-8, but he could. But he could have like I said, a worse flush draw. But I don't know. I mean, that's the flop you were looking for.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And the fact that two people are shoving their chips in there doesn't mean it's still not a pretty flop where you got to draw to the stone cold nuts here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any value in shoving, like you were saying, because we still have to win. I mean, if we got to get there, I suppose ace high could be good. Maybe the hijack shoved like queen jack of diamonds or something, But I would assume most of the time he has at least a pair.
So you would flat and then see what the villain does on the turn?
Yeah, I would flat and see what the small blind does on the turn.
Okay. Well, that's what I did. I just called the 1090.
Okay, you just called. Okay, so what?
I think you're definitely getting some folds with the shove on the flop, though. Some ace, whatever. He's got somehow middle pair, and he wanted to see where he was at. I don't know.
Yeah. If he's got something like
even
6-7
a 10, if he's a real nit, you never know. He might be nervous. It looks like either one of you could have him crushed here. Either you or him, from the villain's perspective.
Okay, so you call, and what's the pot at that point going to the turn?
37.78 before the turn. Before the turn.
37.78.
70.
70. Okay, 37.70 pot. All right, and what's the turn?
Turn is the 8 of diamonds.
Well, that's a pretty card. Okay, and what's the small blind do?
Small blind check.
Small blind checks. Okay, and how much does he have behind?
34.
34. Okay, and you got what? 36.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are you thinking here?
Well, and this is where I think I made the mistake. With that 8 of diamonds coming and him checking, I probably should have just checked the turn and waited to see what he did on the river. I bet half pot. No,
okay.
A little less than half pot on the. It's probably a third. 13.62 is what I bet on the turn after he checked.
Okay. I don't hate that. I might have gone even a little bit smaller. Something like either check or do something like a really, really small bet, like $8.
Yeah, okay.
And just see what he does there. But I'm guessing you bet 13 and then he folded.
No. And the reason I didn't really want to bet smaller because I wanted, if he was going to put more chips in, I figured if he called the 13.62, he was calling my shove on the river if he checked again. So, and he calls. He just
he does call.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Small blind calls 13.62. Okay. And what's the pot now?
64.94.
64.94. And you each have about $20 behind?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's the river?
The river is the Jack of Hearts.
Jack of Hearts. Okay. Is this one of those stories where he has the 7-9 of diamonds?
Yeah, 7-9 of diamonds. No, this is.
Okay.
I didn't come on to wine.
All right.
All right, and on the river, the small blind shows his $20 in.
Okay, and you snap call, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm never folding that.
Okay, and he shows 7-9 of diamonds.
Nope, he showed pocket queens with queen of diamonds.
Oh, okay. Right on.
Which kind of surprised me on the river because it's just flatting out of the small blind like that. My open, because there's a lot of 3-bets that go on at this level, especially out of the small and big blind with bigger cards. So.
Yeah, I don't care for the way he played that one. But
yeah.
No, I think I would have played exactly the same way you did. I probably would have just made a smaller bet on the
turn.
On the turn.
Okay.
That's it. Because I mean, you could check behind and then just shove it in on the river because at that point the pot would be almost $38. It was $37.70. You got the small blind has 34 behind, so that's the effective stacks. You got a pot size bet on the river, but. I don't know. I kind of like just putting in a small bet right there, and then he's going to be, if you make it like $8, then you're going to have, the pot's going to be like 55 and you guys are going to have $25 behind. And so it'll be an even, he'll be getting an even better price to call.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. On the river, I guess once I get to the turn, a lot of times I don't think about the shove size on the river, what I'm going to do.
Yeah, when you get a hand like this and you hit it like you did, the first thought in your mind should be, how can I get his whole stack? How do I get all of his chips? And kind of plan your bet sizes so that you can do that. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, it sounds right. I mean, I want to point out to justify my shove. We ran into like the best, basically almost the best hand he could have there.
Yeah.
I mean, he can have sets or two pair, and we still got a shit ton of equity against it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that would just be the peril of playing it passively and calling and then folding to his turn bet.
Yeah.
Because then like I said, you're just not. I think you're risking. But of course, again, the low variance way. Well, I don't know, Steve. Cash game. I don't like all these cash game nits. For God's sakes, take a fucking pot down.
Well, hey, I figured
reach down and grab your NUTs and shove the gutter ball in there.
Hey, Mike, I'm cashing out. So.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I should take your advice or not.
When did I become a joke, Steve? Was I from the very beginning? I don't know.
No. It had to have been last night or when I was listening to the Carlos episode. You were making fun of yourself, so I figured I'd just carry it on today.
Okay, that's fine. I got a feeling the whole texture of this show is ready to just come screaming off the tracks here from my perspective, but that's okay. I'm a big boy. I can handle it.
Right on. Do you have any others?
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've got a couple more. Sorry, Mike.
No, yeah, proceed. I was going to ask for more hands. I like this.
Okay. Yeah, I've got Jack on the button. This is another 25-50 game. This is a different table. I haven't been there very long. I think I won the first hand that I sat down and then just folded a few hands. And all right. And I am,
Jack.
Not on the button. I'm in the small blind. I'm sorry. I had it down wrong. Jack and small blind. 2 blackjacks.
Okay. Jack of spades and clubs. Okay.
All right. Under the gun raises to $1.50.
UTG 1.50. Okay.
The button flats the $1.50.
Okay.
And out of the small blind, I just called 2.
Okay, you're in the small blind. Okay, what's your reason for calling there?
Well, like I was saying with the last hand, I think there's so often that they're the standard player in these games 3-bet that out of the smaller big blind. And I just wanted to try something different and just try flatten. There was 2 callers and the effective. I don't remember what the big blind did. So yeah, I just wanted to call and see a flop with it and see how it went there.
Okay, we're full handed, right? 6-handed.
Yeah, they're still 6.
Okay, and okay, what's your stack and what's the button and UTG stack?
I had 37 to start the hand. Under gun had 34.50, and the button had 33.
33. Okay, so you're all about even. Okay, not a fan of the flat.
Okay.
I think we should definitely be 3-betting there. Remember when I was saying how wide these guys will get all in with?
Mm-hmm.
And some of these guys they'll go all in with pocket sixes, or I've even run some experiments with that just to see, like, okay, can I shove 7s here and get called by 5s? And I do, So when you got 2 jacks, we definitely want to be building a pot. Especially you want to charge them. You're going to be out of position for the rest of the hand. that's can be pretty tricky to play when you get an overcard or two out there. Just by calling here, it's almost like you're set mining with these. And I think we should be putting money into the pot and getting some money in there when it's very likely that right now you have the best hand.
Yeah. So no, that makes a lot of sense. And that's usually what I do. I just thought with this hand I would just try this and see how it went.
This time you just figured you'd call? Okay. I think it is important that every now and then you kind of vary it. And, but I think 90 to 95% of the time we should be raising here. And making it something like, I don't know, 525, something like that. And charging them. You're going to be you're going to be out of position for the rest of the hand. And I think we should, and you got a strong hand, build the pot.
Yeah. No, this is good because the hands that I brought up are hands that I played differently than what we've talked about in the past. So I just wanted new stuff to talk about. This is good.
Okay, cool. So, but most of the time you would be raising here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What do you think, Mike? Would you ever call here in the small blind with these, or?
It would. It depends, I guess, is the answer. Villains here. I mean, but if you're going to be flatting any decent percentage from the small blind, you got to have some big pairs in that range, right? So it can't be just always got suited connectors again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it is also worth noting that it's like this isn't really deep. Tony's got like 75 bigs.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying 75 bigs with jacks is great, but it's different than if you're $2,000, 400 bigs effective in a 2-5 game or something. You're not ready to play for your stack for this. But again, like it says, it goes against it depends on the competition, but I mean, I'm even probably willing to get this in a lot, like I say.
Yeah, I would.
Or you can certainly call a 4-bet even if you're out of position if you're deeper. But I would be leaning towards the raise, but I think you got to have some. Just curious, Steve, with the coaching, is that considered a no though? Flatting too much from the small blind, or?
I think in these cash games, the 25-50s, I think you can profitably get jacks in this spot, and you'll win over the long run. The guys are going to call you with 8s. They're going to call these all-ins with 7s. I've seen them do it with 5s. Ace Jack, Ace 10. They will go all in very light, and especially on Bovada. And I think you can profitably get all in with like 10s plus against the average opponents, and show a profit in the long run. So
even 75 big blinds.
Even 75 big blinds deep, yeah.
Okay.
Well, what do you feel about? But just overall, in terms of, remember we were talking. Well, this was tournaments, but James Gettinger was saying he is almost exclusively a 3-bet or fold in the small blind. Again, I don't know how that's even applicable to, but he had some. The average person loses probably 15 big blinds out of every 100 out of small blind. I would think even more. Mm-hmm. He was very low.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, like cash, you're deeper. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's a major leak where you're 30, 40 big blinds in a tournament. When you're deep in 80 big blinds effective, I don't know if it's as big of a deal. But I'm just curious if that's what you're. I know, Steve, you say big blind defense needs to go up.
Yeah.
Not in a cash game though, right? That's tournament stuff.
No, I think it'd apply in cash games as well.
Okay. So I don't. I would probably be 3-betting there, but I don't. I get it, and I don't dislike the flat. So that's, I guess, my final word.
Final answer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what's the big blind do? Is he complete, or does he?
No, he raises to 12.97.
Oh, there we go. All right. 12.97. Okay, so he raises for you. Wow, that's a big raise.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when he raised, and I think that's where you guys going over this hand, making the mistake of not raising the jack.
Okay.
Because I just folded to that big of a raise.
Okay, so the UTG folded, button folded.
Yep, and I folded.
And then you folded. What was his stack behind?
He had me covered. He had 57.
Okay.
And I didn't know if I should have shoved that or folded it. I wasn't sure what to do with it because I played it differently than I usually do, so I just folded.
Yeah, as played, I think I might almost fold there too. I know I'm going back on what I said that I'd be willing to get it in here with that.
What's the do we have HUD stats on this guy?
No, I don't use a HUD on the cash games.
Oh, okay. I wish we had a HUD. If he was
if
he was 3-betting more than like 6%, to me it's like auto shove kind of thing. But,
yeah, well, I wasn't there very long. I had only seen each of these guys play a couple hands, and I felt the 1297 raise was pretty strong. And I found that's pretty standard. If they have a strong hand, the raise is quite a bit more than standard.
Right. Yeah, that's probably a little bit of a tell there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of going as played. I'm kind of going with the fold. I know I'm going back on what I said, but I don't know if it's the sizing. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's a fold.
And I have a hard time trying to pick out the squeezes too from the blinds. That's another reason why I wrote this hand down, because I don't know if that's a squeeze or So the fold, I think, was just move on to the next hand.
Yeah. It now if you raise to like $5 or something, and then he then I think we'd get a little bit more information when he raises at that point. Because at that point he's either folding or he's doing something different than what he did. So
I'm sorry. What was the bet sizing here again? It was limp or raise from the.
It was raised to $1.50, 3x raise.
So $1.50, $1.50, $1.50, and what was the raise to?
$12.97.
You do have the fourth strongest hand in poker.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the funny thing is, just reviewing a tournament I won recently. So this is going to be a do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to say never fold jacks here, kind of thing. But I get away from jacks in an important spot but it was I had 3-bet, someone had 4-bet, and someone had 5-bet ripped. But the 5-bet ripper was very shallow, and the 4-better was kind of bluffy. So not an obvious fold, but it was a fold, and the person who had me covered had aces. So I mean, I understand jacks cause problems, but I don't know.
This might almost look like a guy that has ace queen or ace king and is afraid to play it
out of the big blind.
Yeah, out of the big blind. Yeah, man, I could go either way on this, Tony. I could go fold. I could go rip.
This might be applicable to what Carlos was talking about, just those close spots. Not that you don't worry about it, but breaking this down in an equity calculator for an eternity and a half. We know folding queens here just feels like a disaster, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
And we know reshoving ace 10 off or pocket fours is probably pretty bad too.
Yeah.
And jacks is closer to queens than pocket fours. I don't know. Maybe that's not. I would shove, but we've seen my like I said, I treat 150 big blinds in a cash game the same way as I do as 20 big blinds late in a tournament. Oh, I'm ahead of this range. Shoving money. So, but that's a good spot, a good interesting spot.
Yeah, that is interesting. I could go either way, man. I could see myself shoving. I could see myself folding. I think, like Mike was saying, this is probably one of those where we're splitting hairs, and it's just a few percent either way. And I don't think either folding or shoving, either one is bad or good. I think it's very, very close.
If you had any hands, I mean, like I said, you'd have to have. It'd be nice to have a few more hands on the guy. Obviously, that would
it would have been
greatly.
So maybe I just picked the wrong time to try to flat a big pair out of the small blind. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah,
interesting.
Sure
Interesting. Right on. Do you have any more?
I do. I have one more. 8 of clubs, 10 of clubs under the gun.
Okay, 8 of clubs, 10 of clubs, UTG. Okay.
You know, this is one of the hands where we talked about opening up my range a little bit, and I thought maybe this would be a good one to go over.
Bueno. Okay.
And this one I haven't went over before, so this will all be brand new for all of us.
Good.
A few days ago, I forgot about it.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Still 25-50.
Hold on a second. I believe it is. That's all I've been playing. I don't play anything else but 25-50.
Okay. All right. So 8-10 of clubs. You make it 150 or?
Yes, and we're four-handed here. It's not a full table.
Okay. Four-handed. Okay.
And I had only this one. I'd only been there a couple hands too.
Okay.
It was a new table and just started filling up. So
okay.
I had like a little over 30 to start the hand.
30. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So you open it up 150, and what
Yep.
happens after that?
I got one caller out of, I guess he would have the hijack.
Hijack. Okay. Let's see. If we're four-handed,
But that
if we're four-handed and you're under the gun, I think. Well, it should be small blind, big blind, then, or I'm sorry, button, small blind, big blind, and then you, right? So would he be on the button or?
No. He was. Yeah, there was only one blind posted because the guy in the small blind had just left.
Ah, okay. So there's only one big blind.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you open it up, and then the guy in the hijack calls, I guess.
Yeah, to my left, he called there.
The one guy just to your left. Okay. All right.
Yep.
He calls 150.
There was a seat between us, and he called.
Okay. And then what's the? Was it a dead button or was there?
No, there was somebody on the button. The small blind was dead.
The small blind was dead.
They do that, yeah. Bovada seems to do that a lot. It's kind of strange.
Okay.
They make the small blind dead quite often,
Okay.
or the big blind. If they sit out right before, well, not the big blind, but if they sit out right before their small blind, they don't move the button. They just leave it there.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. And what's the big blind do?
Folded.
Okay. All right. So what's the total pot?
Total pot is 350.
350. Okay. And what's the flop?
Flop is jack of clubs, 9 of hearts, 3 of clubs.
Jack of clubs, 9 of hearts.
Yep.
3 of clubs. That's a pretty flop.
I thought it was pretty.
Yeah. Okay. Your first act. What are you thinking here?
And what I was thinking here was just I was hoping for a check raise. And that's another question that I'd had for you. When I see the flop and I want to check raise and then they check behind, I don't know what to do on the turn, if I should lead out or if I should check again, depending on the card. That's just a question I've been thinking about lately. If I miss the check, if they check behind after I check and I don't get my check raise on the flop.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends.
Yeah.
If I think going for a check raise is okay. I think that's pretty good. If you do the check raise, then you got to fire the turn, regardless of what comes. But I don't know. Just look at it like you gave yourself a free card. You know,
Okay.
you realistically right now you just have 10 high. You know, so you're in all likelihood going to have to hit if he has something to win. So just look at it like a free card and see what comes on the turn, and then play it from there.
Okay.
If you hit your hand, you can lead out. If you miss, you can check again and see if you get another free card. On the flop, I guess my point is this is a really cool flop for your hand, you know, and but just because your hand is really good on the flop doesn't mean that you're going to win.
The turn's gonna.
That the turn or the river is gonna make you win. So don't get too married to it. Like when you go for a check and then he checks behind and then the turn is a 2 of hearts or some blank. You know, you still have a draw. You have a great draw, but it's still just a draw.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So, yeah. Yeah, I could see leading out here. If you're going to lead out, do I don't know, a little less than half pot, something like that. Or go for the check raise, which I think is good too. So he, let's say you check, and let's just say, for example, let's say he bets 175. What are you thinking for a check raise? Like, what size would you make it?
I probably would make it like 427, 430 something if he bet 175, half a pop.
Okay. I might go a little bit bigger than that. I might go like 5.
Okay.
Maybe 5.25, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. All right. So you check, and villain does not comply with your plan. He checks behind.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And the turn is the 10 of hearts.
10 of hearts. Okay, you picked up some showdown. All right. The pot is still 350. What do you think about his plan on the flop there, Mike?
It sounds good. I like it.
Okay.
I was going to just disagree with you have to double barrel. I mean, if we check raise and he calls with no flush draw out there, that means usually he has top pair. So I was going to say if the board pairs, that's an awful card to double barrel.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, we have showdown value. But this just seems like a board, whatever you bet on the, now with the 10, if an ace or a king came on, obviously. Of course he could, we don't know we don't have limited information on the villain. In a tournament, if I had 1,000 hands and knew his fold of C-bet was small, then yeah, double barrel. But yeah, I just don't know if I think there's some cards maybe you're not happy to double barrel. The board pairing, and I think 10 maybe isn't great either. He certainly has Jack 10 in the hands like that in his range.
Yeah.
Jack Queen, he's not folding.
Yeah.
But he could be like if you checked raise. Well, I mean, right now we have less of an idea what his range is than if obviously. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's not a bad turn card. Obviously, you got a pair now.
Yeah.
For some reason, he could have an under pair and think it's good, which it is a lot of the time. So we might have just sucked out on him.
Okay.
But obviously, the check raise is not nearly as sexy now.
No.
No.
For to do this, like that would not be in our a possibility now. I assume it's either check call or bet, or bet fold. I guess if he raises big somehow.
Yeah, I was thinking check just because. Yeah, I mean, if he raises you got to fold. And if he throws out a little bet, you can still give it a call. You still got a flush draw. You have a straight draw that isn't nearly as pretty now. But you got showdown value. Just keep the pot small, and if you get a club on the river, then you can go for it. If not, your hand's probably good enough to win.
Yeah, no, both of you made sense with that one. I let out for $1.50 on the 10.
Okay. Hero bets 150. And what's villain do?
Raises to 650.
There we go. There's the awkward spot. Okay, 650. And what are you thinking here?
I don't know what I was. Yeah. In game, I was thinking that he thought maybe my bet on the turn meant that I had Broadway cards and didn't hit I got a draw, or maybe I had the 9. So when the 10 came, I thought maybe he was thinking I was just way too weak and wanted to raise and take it down. So I called the 650.
Okay. Yeah, I think the move on the turn is to check and let him bet, even if he bets pot. You guys are fairly decently stacked. You can make a decision on the river if your draw comes in. There's a lot of good cards for you. Another 10 would be good. Any club, an 8 would be really awkward. Basically bluff catching at that point. But a 7 could give you the best hand. Yeah. Anyhow, okay. So you call the 650.
Mm-hmm.
What are you thinking here, Mike?
I don't know. Yeah, the other problem is you're not, if you get your straight on the river, you're not probably going to win a huge pot because it's going to, you know what I mean? So that's the other issue. If it was I'd be more likely to call if there was an ace on board rather than a 10.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So if we hit our straight,
then
we can really get paid off if he's got an ace because it'll be kind of hidden maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if you hit the bottom end of it. Queen comes, you're not loving it as much because you could easily have two pair, and that would slow him down if he had whatever ace X. So yeah,
and I don't think he would have on the flop. I didn't really think he would check two pair there behind me.
Check behind with the two pair.
Yeah,
probably not. Just because the board's so wet.
Yeah.
And let's not dismiss the possibility that you're essentially drawing dead here too. He's got Queen King.
Yeah,
he's got the stone cold nuts. Yeah, I'd be.
Well, we still do have the club draw.
The flush draw, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess you got a call.
Yeah, I didn't when he
without
raised,
the flush draw. I'd probably fold.
Yeah, without the.
I definitely would have folded without the club draw.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. The river is the 9 of clubs.
9 of clubs. Okay. All right. So the board now is final board is Jack of clubs, 10 of hearts, 9 of clubs, 9 of hearts, 3 of clubs. So it your flush came in, but the board paired.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't really scared about the full house here. I didn't make.
Yeah. Okay. What's the pot right now?
1650.
1650. Okay, and you have how much behind? 22.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 22 behind, and he's got you covered.
Yeah, he had me covered.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Okay, so for him to have a boat, he's got to have 9-3, Jack 9, pocket 10s, which is very unlikely because you block that. Pocket 3s, pocket 9s, pocket jacks. And with the action. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Okay, so what'd you do with
I bet half pot.
You bet half pot, so you bet 825.
Yep.
825. Yeah, I like it. Okay, what did he do?
He just called.
He just called. Okay.
And he had the king queen.
He had king queen. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
I was drawing pretty dead there.
Yeah, you were. Well, you weren't drawing dead. You had.
Well, except for the club, yeah.
Yeah. Were either of his king or queen club?
No, neither one were.
Okay. Well, you had some else. Right on. Huh. Yeah, I think I just like I like the way you played it, except for the turn. I would have checked the turn. Check call on the turn. He's probably not betting more than the pot, and even if he does call that anyways, as it stands, you had to call 650 instead of 350 to see the river. You know.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That's why I brought this one up because it was kind of awkward on the turn.
Okay. Yeah. Well done, man. That was good.
Cool.
So, good. Tony, how have your results been recently? Are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing one cash out a month. I just wait till the end of the month and then do a cash out and then start all over again with a new month. So I just stay at 10.25. I did jump up to 50 and $1, and I played a few days at that. And it seems like those games go really, really, really slow. There's not much action in them at all.
Right.
Everyone's just playing really tight, or what?
Yeah, extremely tight above. And maybe it was just the tables and the days that I was playing. I'm not sure because I haven't really tried anymore. So,
well, as we talked about the show, one and two is almost $1, $2 is almost like high stakes online now. I mean, that's where the pros make their money. That's where Dusty Schmidt plays, for goodness sake,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
well, and listening to the podcast and all your guys' guests, I figured I'm playing, even at 25-50, I know for a fact I'm playing with some of the pros, even though I can't see who they are. You can tell how they play. So,
yeah.
Again, this probably isn't a set, but I brought up to Steve, like I said, I'd never play cash online. There's too much collusion. And like I said, it just occurred to me during that Jack's hand, if you were, because I was playing at a cash game in L.A., which I thought, or at least the guy next to me said these guys are all working together. And that is kind of how you do it. Someone bets, call, and then if somebody else flats, your villain here, the one you're trying to, you bump it up. Basically, you're just trying to push him out of every pot or go to flops with 3 or 4 other players. So he's always, so not that I mean, it's a slim chance that that's what is happening there, but that would be a spot where, I mean, if they were somehow colluding, I mean, they got to get you to fold jacks.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing flops with jacks, then, you're just never going to make money if they're pushing you off that with any regularity. But you're winning, obviously, in line, so a pointless.
Yeah, it's worth.
But I do worry about that.
I've thought about that too, and I don't know. I've actually got onto some tables and some spots where I thought maybe there was a little bit of collusion, but I just get off the table and go to a different one because not all of them are the same, and there seems to be a ton of 25-50 games running
right
at any time during the day.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much about the collusion. I mean, there could be people out there that are doing it, but what are you going to do? Not play?
Yeah, exactly. I can't not
At least for
play.
me, that's not an option. I can't give up poker.
Me either. I can't do it. Maybe for a couple of days while I'm at work, and then once I get a day off, I got to get on and play from the hand.
It's like a drug.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's always some new story and coming out. Like there's two of the better sit and go players on Poker Stars were, they each had a piece of each other.
Oh yeah.
They kept playing the same one, so I don't know if they were Skyping together and sharing hands, kind of shit. But anyways, I'm always looking to see the dark side of things.
We know that.
Sonny Steve couldn't find a freaking cloud in the thunderstorm here. So,
well, that's why the podcast is so good.
Well, thank you for that.
Get both sides of it.
Right. Let's get Tony's. Tony, is there anybody you'd like to have back on the show here? Let's get some listener input because Steve wants to bring Mr. Kicks back on.
I think I definitely needs to bring Mr. Kicks back on.
We are running out of ideas here.
I think I need to put him in between you guys on the website, on the page.
That might be kind of cool.
Steve's a little poker buddy.
Yeah. He chills on top of the desk while I play.
That's what I was just getting ready to ask, if you stroke the cat while you're playing.
Stroking something.
That was cool. Yeah. Who would you like to hear as a guest? What were some of your favorite episodes?
Oh, I'm not sure. Jonathan Little was really good. I think he's probably the one I took the most notes on.
Okay.
Mark's always entertaining. Carlos, of course, is always entertaining. You can't go wrong with having Carlos back on. But, yeah, I'm not sure.
We're done with Carlos.
I have to think about that.
Sorry.
You're done? Yeah. I kind of got that from you last night.
I've had enough of that kid.
Such hostility.
He's mad because Carlos got the last shot in. And,
yeah, I did get to finish the podcast last night. I got home and had to go to bed, so I'll listen to that later today.
Right on. Cool. Well, thank you for coming on, Tony.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all your work on the website. And
no, not a problem. It'll get better. Still learning at it. It doesn't look too great right now, but it'll get better.
I think it looks awesome. It's a work in progress, It's
yeah,
evolving.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just like the poker game.
Yes.
Okay, boys.
All righty. And
have a great day.
Okay,
yeah,
you do
too,
the same. You guys can, if you want to join TPE, click on the link in the show notes or go to our website, HeadsUpPoker.Poker. If you're not in a training website, then and you want to get better at tournaments, that's the place to do it. Thank you for tuning in, and here is your weekly motivational speech.
When you step into your fears and continue to push yourself to go on, you begin to see things that have been standing there looking you in the face and say, I can't believe this has been here all this time.
It's supposed to be difficult. If it wasn't difficult, then there'd be no growth. There would be no resistance. There'd be nothing to force you to grow stronger with. And that's why I say the most important reason, the most important thing, the most important gift that you receive by taking action, it's you growing stronger and becoming a stronger version of yourself through the challenges, through the resistance, and because it's hard.